And on deck will be Katie Prather, by the way. All right, Sir Gayu, it's Joe Burns. You're here on behalf of yourself, and you're against this bill. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I do sit on the executive committee for the state party, the Libertarian Party of Texas, but I am representing myself on this particular bill.
And you're against it?
I'm definitely against it.
Please proceed.
I'm most definitely opposed to it. Thank you, Chair and esteemed members of the committee. I would like to address, I'm a Baylor grad. I understand Ms. Swanson's a Baylor grad. I graduated from the Hand-Camera School of Business with a couple of BBAs quite a few years ago, one of them being in accounting. So I take an accounting exception to this bill because the numbers on it just strictly don't add up. From us graduating from Baylor, I can say without a doubt that this is not the Baylor way. This bill is not about fairness, and I'm happy to explain that. It does quite the opposite, in fact, of being fair. As Chairman Kane knows very well, 2504, when it was passed into legislation last session, caused quite a bit of stir. We ended up in court over this in multiple courts, from an injunction out of Harris County against the Secretary of State to prevent us from being removed from the ballot, to Mr. Kane sitting as opposing counsel on our case that was heard before the Texas Supreme Court. So I was one of the named parties in that Supreme Court case because I ran for Congress in 2020. I ran a paper candidacy. I knew I had no chance of winning, but I wanted to give a voice to the people that wanted to vote Libertarian. I refused to pay the filing fee on the grounds that it is patently unfair, and I believe it is unethical on its face. And I will back that up with particular statute regarding these filing fees prior to 2504 becoming legislation. The statute made it abundantly clear that these filing fees were collected for the express purpose of paying the state's expense to put on the primaries. Many of you may not even be aware, but the state statute treats primary parties completely differently than it treats,
You have time.
Then it treats the third parties that operate by convention. So those filing fees that we are now being charged go into the general fund of Texas. We're not eligible for refunds like the primary parties are. And if you look back at the 2018 primaries, as Renee mentioned, $5 million was collected, $19 million spent, $14 million had to come out of the general fund. So that's where our filing fees are going. So what this bill effectively has done is it has taxed us to pay for Democrat and Republican primaries, of which we don't even participate. So I can't begin to say how unfair that is. And I can go even deeper with that. Now, that's 2504. When we move to 1812 gets far worse, far more sinister in what it actually seeks to achieve. Guys like me that refuse to pay that filing fee on the grounds that it's unethical and patently unfair, we were willing to fight it out in court. In fact, I contributed a significant amount of money to our legal defense fund to fight this battle in court, and I'm going to do it again because we will end up in court over this. I give you my word that will happen if this bill becomes law. We're still fighting it out over 2504. 2504 became, but what 1812 seeks to do, the real issue we have with this is that it seeks to prevent our party from even nominating a candidate that refuses to pay that filing fee. In essence, what this bill does is it seeks to kneecap us before we even get to the court to be able to fight this out in front of an impartial judge. It seeks to force our party to enforce this legislation and prevent candidates like me who say, I'm not going to pay that filing fee. What this bill seeks to do is it seeks to force the party to enforce the law. Law not meant to help us at all. So I think it's pretty clear at this point that it's designed to keep us down. It's not designed to be fair at all. And if you want us to pay filing fees, and we can discuss this further, we're more than happy to help work on legislation to achieve whatever the actual goal is. And we understand because there's a kind of a companion bill in the Senate that sought to have everybody paying filing fees. Those filing fees were to be paid back to the Libertarian Party. Well, that's a different conversation. That might be a fair bill that we can discuss, but this one, it's a non-starter.
Thank you, sir. Members, any questions for this witness?